When you are in the dating world, it is important that a man finds a woman who, quite frankly, fits a certain criteria. The same way it's important that a woman finds a man who fits a certain criteria. Now, guys, this channel, as you guys know, many of you are subscribed to it, or know that this is not some type of MGTOW channel or anything like that. I don't even get into that. I don't even get to that discussion. But the thing is this right here. Dating is obviously very important. You see, you date people because, well, you've already decided that maybe you want to get married. Some people get into the dating world, they get pissed off with it, they walk away and say, you know what, is marriage even worth this? And sometimes you meet someone who, quite frankly, just fits you like a glove and things work out absolutely perfectly. There are all kinds of ways you can do this. You can go to a bar, you can run to a lady, or you can run to a guy at the bar and you can have a conversation. Typically those bar relationships don't work. We may save that for another video. Maybe you can go to church, maybe you can go to an area of a mutual gathering. Non-threatening places are typically the best places to pick up your significant other. Oftentimes people go for online dating. Me personally, I'm not an actual fan, but we got to talk about this conservative dating app and how it is that it absolutely triggered the folks at TYT. Now, really quick, in no way, shape, or form am I advocating for you to only date other people of your own political affiliation. As a matter of fact, I have dated girls who, quite frankly, did not agree with me on everything, and sometimes they worked out, sometimes they did not. By working out, I mean typically got a second or third date, or at least it lasted for a little bit longer. It at least went to fling stage rather than relationship stage, but sometimes it can happen. For example, James Carville, the very, very famous Democratic strategist, who, quite frankly, I'm not going to give you my personal thoughts on him. He is married to a woman who is a conservative. They have been married for years. They've actually managed to find a way to make it work. But in today's society, the left, of course, has gone absolutely insane. Feminists are not exactly what we call people that we want to date. Of course, soy boys are not exactly desirable. Most women, most real women, would just view them as absolute beta males. And women, for the most part, respond to men who have some type of strength. Also, something else, too, men typically respond to women who are not going to fight them at every single phase of their life, which is kind of where we're getting at with this actual discussion here. So the folks at TYT are triggered by this new conservative app called The Right Stuff. Let's just go ahead and roll this.
And it's called The Right Stuff. Let's go to Ryan for an explanation of what conservative people can expect when they're on it.
Ryan, I've got to tell you about something I am so excited to announce. A dating app for all of us conservatives. It's called The Right Stuff, and it's launching this September. What I love most about it is that it's invite only, so not just anyone can join. First of all, it's free to use. And for my ladies, you'll never have to pay because we all get premium subscriptions for simply inviting a couple friends. Gentlemen, if you want access to premium, that's on you. And by the way, those are the only two options. Ladies and gentlemen, The Right Stuff is all about getting into the right dating pool with people who share the same values and beliefs as you. You'll start off by building your perfect profile. No pronouns necessary. We want you to put your best foot forward, which includes your favorite photos of yourself doing what you love or being with the people you love. Our prompts give you the opportunity to let people know various sides of you. So remember, be authentic and creative. We're sorry that you've had to endure years of bad dates and wasted time with people that don't see the world our way, the right way.
The Right Stuff was an app that was created by Peter Thiel and Kelly McEnany's sister. Now, guys, many conservatives, of course, we love Kelly McEnany and we love that family because, let's just face it, they come off as very, very sweet, very, very intelligent. Attractive, yes, definitely cute, but obviously, and I have to kind of bring this up every time we get this discussion, is there's like 8 separate studies that show that conservative women are typically tend to be much, much more attractive. I mean, do I need to throw these pictures up here of the Roe v. Wade protesters? Of course, the soy boys, as we already know, are mostly betas. I mean, I don't think that conservative women find those type of guys attractive. They typically tend to walk away, or if they actually run into them, it's normally for stuff like serviceable purposes, like get me my freaking coffee, stuff like that right there. They don't typically respond very, very well to those type of men. And of course, the people at TYT, if I didn't already mention this, are a little bit upset that they're actually being frozen the hell out. But I got to make this point before we actually look at TYT's response to this. I got to ask a question. Why is it that you guys want to be around us so much? You see, most left-wingers, especially those at TYT, they go off on how evil right-wingers are. They go off on how bad they are. They go off on how much they do not like Christians. They go off on how much they do not like people who just simply disagree with them. I mean, dude, Cenk Younger accuses Jimmy Dore of being freaking right-wing, and yet Jimmy Dore is from the Blame America Left. They accuse Glenn Greenwald of being freaking right-wing. These people are absolutely loons, and I'll probably come back to this again because, like I said, it's probably going to be a little bit repetitive. Why do you guys want to date what the hell you hate? Why? What is this? I mean, don't you guys kind of want your own community, your own club? Now, with that right there being said, let's look at their response.
Wingers, although this ad certainly had this message of transgender people, we don't want you. When it's like, they didn't ask to be invited. They're not interested in you. So like, I love how they're like, not interested. And it just reminds me of like, inevitably, I'm sure every woman who's in the public has experienced a guy reaching out to her to say, I disagree with everything you say, but I would bang. And it's like, have you seen yourself in the mirror? You think I'd bang? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like this presumption that like everyone wants you, and it's like, no one wants you.
My favorite part of that is that like, he thinks there's some percentage chance she'll read this comment and be like, oh, he does want to bang. Okay, I'm gonna write him right away.
Before I respond to that very, very long-winded quote of dumbassery, I do gotta make this very, very quick point. There have been other conservative dating apps out there that, quite frankly, people have had issues with. The main issue that conservatives are having with this particular dating app is that apparently women can join for free, but men have actually got to pay. Now, let me go ahead and say this really, really quick because I am a bit of a traditionalist. Most of the time when you ask a girl out, when you actually go on a date with her, normally the first couple of dates, you normally pay the first two, maybe even the first three. After a while, if you begin to actually get to a relationship, most normal couples or most normal new couples will begin to start compromising on certain things. You know, going Dutch, I'll take care of this, you take care of that. That type of thing right there is something that compromise, of course, which by the way is something that the left does not seem to understand. My first response to Anna is, why would any man want to date someone who's kind of like a little bit elitist? Why would somebody want to date a snob, which oftentimes a certain portion of left-wing women are? Do I have to pull a Sean Fitzgerald and remind you?
Am I saying that I'm better than you? I guess I'm going a little further than you are. Yeah, I'm fucking better than you, okay? Much better than you. You are garbage, okay? If you get...
Yeah, that type of attitude typically tends to drive alpha males away. Men also don't like to date women who show up to work. You know what? I think I'm just going to let your former co-worker at TYT, Jimmy Dore, kind of remind us all of just how gaudy you really are.
Now, I told you guys this last Friday. Anna, we always wear very short, revealing things, and I never said anything. And one day was super, to the point where she bent over in the middle of the studio and exposed herself. She exposed herself to the whole newsroom. And everybody's like, and I said, hey, Anna, nice news skirt. And everybody laughed, and they laughed a
trashy too.
Am I saying that I'm better than you? I guess I'm going a little further than you are. Yeah, I'm fucking better than you, okay? Much better than you. You are garbage, okay? If you
write them right away. Like, really? Okay, so but now back to these folks. Now, look, is it possible that some trans folks might have a kink where they're like, ooh, like, you know, doing something to a Republican, that could be kind of interesting. It's possible, okay? But are folks likely to sign up for a dating app where everyone they'd be dating would hate them? Probably not. Yeah. Probably not. Yeah. I mean, so these are the same guys who said, oh, hey, we love Donald Trump after he said he would ban all Muslims from the country. They're like, now remember, Cenk, you're not invited. Why would I want to date you if you already hate me? You already told me you hate me, right? So but they think, so remember, because right-wingers have infinite entitlement. Yep. They think, oh my God, everybody wants me.
No.
But it's invite only. Invite only. No pronouns, no commas, no grammar, no facts. Everyone, we're having fun here, okay? And everyone on here is a liar, by the way, and loves liars. Good luck.
Meet your next partner to storm the Capitol. It'll be great. Now, The Hill wrote about the rights.
Well, Cenk, I think you answered your own question right there at the end, bub. I mean, yeah, we just don't want to date you guys. We just don't want to. I mean, and yes, we are a little bit entitled. You know, one of the things about conservative men is that we like the idea that our women don't have penises. We also like for our women to at least hold themselves somewhat accountable, not only emotionally, spiritually, and of course in looks or whatnot, which by the way, it's not really that big of a deal. It really isn't. Don't just be thinking I'm some misogynist who just demands freaking girls from Victoria's Secret. No, I'm not like that at all. But yeah, we kind of demand our partners at least look half as good as we do. Also, something else too, it goes the same way for women. You see, women demand a guy who's actually an actual male and not some whiny little beta like yourself. So yes, Cenk, us conservative men and us conservative women are, yeah, a little bit entitled, and we don't like the idea of dating literal hags who go out there and paint their white pants right around their crotch area red. It's kind of disgusting looking. And also, unlike you guys, we don't demand free crap all the time. Now, guys, I don't think I have to answer back to TYT, which, by the way, you're probably wondering if TYT is the meat of this actual this video, why are you going on? Well, it isn't really so much TYT. You see, just looking at Cenk, looking at Anna, and looking at the stuff they say is obviously a turnoff enough. However, it's not really TYT that I'm a little bit concerned about. It's this little article that came from Mary Sue. Now, guys, bear with me on this part. Now, for those of you who don't know what a Mary Sue is, a Mary Sue is basically the embodiment, or it's a phrase that we use to describe certain female actors who play in roles that are designed to empower certain female characters. For example, Rey from Star Wars. She's the ultimate Mary Sue. We say this, we call her that because she's not exactly somebody who actually, let's just say her character is not fully formed. She's just this dominant female from the very, very start, doesn't go through struggle or anything of that nature. That's kind of where Mary Sue comes from. So these people at Mary Sue, they kind of outlined their rage of why it is that conservatives have basically said, to hell with liberals in the dating market. Other factors to consider is that conservative women typically tend to look a lot better. Do I need to reference those 8 studies, which, by the way, I did in that Matt Gaetz video, which, by the way, I'll be leaving in the comment section of this video. Not to mention I'll be leaving those actual articles and those actual studies in the description box, as well as the full TYT clip, and also the article from Mary Sue. The thing is this right here, when I look at conservative women, they typically have this one invariable that kind of outranks everything else that the left produces. And that right there is the fact that conservative women typically don't have a penis. So there is that there. Don't worry, there'll probably be a video on Blair White and her boyfriend saying that he's not gay, even though Blair's obviously, by the way, I don't have a problem with Blair. I'm just kind of pointing out that the dude saying that he was not gay for screwing around with an actual man is kind of weird. But that right there is another topic for another day. But the fact of the matter is that conservative women also keep themselves up better. They also keep themselves better looking, especially over periods of time. They actually hold themselves accountable. For example, you're seeing a photo right now of S.E. Cupp. This right is what she looked like when she was a conservative. This right is what she looked like before she went completely left wing. This is what she looks like now. Very, very mean and nasty, and looks like she's full of anger. Yeah, these type of looks don't exactly don't exactly arouse basic common men. It actually kind of wards us away from us, and you're actually upset that we're walking away from you. But this is kind of the reason why. Just take a look in the frickin' mirror. I mean, compare yourself to other conservative women. You see, there's a lot of jealousy amongst the left, and quite frankly, jealous people are not exactly what we call attractive. I mean, do I have to go through conservative women and how they look compared to the left? Yeah, I know Anna Kasparian is not what we call. And let's put it this way here: Anna's not ugly. Anna's actually kind of cute, even though she had a nose job years back. But I mean, dude, look at conservative women versus liberal women. I mean, it's not even close. I mean, Melania Trump, one of the best looking first ladies in history, if you ask me. Who else? Ivanka was good looking, and that's just the Trump. I mean, what about the YouTube personalities? What about Lauren Southern? Lauren Southern's very attractive, in my opinion. Who else? Like I just said, S.E. Cupp, before she became a raging liberal, she was good looking. Another one, Allison Camerata, worked at Fox News. She was actually good looking when she worked there. Dana Lash, Dana Lash is a pretty good looking woman. By the way, she used to be on the left. She became a conservative later on in life. I mean, dude, conservative women typically tend to look much, much better. I mean, Lauren Chen, she's attractive. I mean, The girl, I mean, the girl Brett Cooper, what's her name? She's not the prettiest thing in the world, but she's kind of cute. I mean, liberal women typically tend to not have this. If the best you can come up with is the girl at, was it ContraPoints, which, by the way, that's not a girl, that's actually a freaking dude, then you're not exactly sporting anything attractive. I mean, the point of the matter is that conservative women typically tend to look a lot better to go on top of this. So, yeah, we don't want to be around a bunch of liberal hags who are just going to simply nag us and be good old-fashioned Karens and scream stuff like,
Yeah, I'm fucking better than you, okay? Much better than you. You are garbage, okay? If you get...
And let's be honest, nobody likes anybody like that. Now, guys, I'm putting up the actual article itself so that way you guys can read along. I'm just simply paraphrasing what you're about to read. Now, guys, here's the thing. This article goes on to talk about conservatives, not wanting to date progressive women. And of course, conservatives in big cities, which, by the way, is kind of rare because there's not that many conservatives in these very, very large cities. If anything, they're mostly moderate Democrats to, let's just say, somewhat liberal Democrats, which, by the way, automatically by the far left, these people are classified as, how do I say, let's just go ahead and say that, once again, these right here are liberals calling moderate Democrats left wing because apparently they're a little bit more conservative than they are. So, yeah, they automatically get branded as right wing. That's another reason why conservatives have decided to create their own dating app. Also, something else, too. When the left dominates the conversation and gets away with this, that, and the other, it also shows you that these people are not exactly what we call accountable, which is something I've talked about on several occasions. By the way, all leftists hold conservatives to extremely impossible standards. So all the people who voted for Joe Biden who are not actually liberal, let me go ahead and tell you that right now you're going through the phase of they're holding you to a higher standard than you hold yourself, or a higher standard that they hold themselves to. Very, very crazy, neurotic people that are absolutely insane. And by the way, they also want to understand why it is that you're leaving them. This is kind of like an abusive, I wouldn't call it abusive. I'd call it I would call it the feminine character, the woman who starts something and then plays victim. That's another reason why people typically tend to, especially women in particular, don't like soy feminine men. By the way, those type of men who throw conniptions, those type of men who actually beat on their wives and stuff, which, by the way, most male feminists are actually wolves in sheep's clothing. Most of them are actually very, very feminine in nature. They don't want to come out and say it, but obviously they have some serious emotional issues that they have not worked out and refuse to actually see a therapist for. By the way, the therapist that they'd probably choose is just the one that would try to make them feel good, which, by the way, doesn't really do anything. But basically, at the end of the day, conservatives are trying to create an actual space for them to stay the hell away from the left. Now, the thing is this right here. The left, as I mentioned before, they're upset that conservatives have decided to basically throw their middle finger up and say, screw you, we want nothing to do with you, which oftentimes most conservatives just simply walk away. While the left sits there, cries and whines, and they complain about why it is that nobody wants anything to do with them. All you got to do is look no further than yourself. Look at what you do. Now, there's also another component to throw out here. Now, I mentioned earlier in this video that I had dated women that did not agree with me politically. This is true. I have dated women who, quite frankly, were Democrats. I even dated a girl that was even quite liberal. It did not work out because she was all about abortion. You see, if certain ideals don't match, and I mean, like I said, you can disagree on certain things. Like, for example, me. I'm a guy who prefers lower taxes to higher taxes. I can be with a girl who thinks that, hey, look, maybe we should tax these people a little bit more. If that right there is a little niche. However, when you go down the list, the cavalcade of list of things to talk about, the things that you would be discussing on a daily basis that would actually affect your lives, when you see that this person's the polar opposite of you, it might be a good idea to walk away because the relationship can then become toxic. As we already know, the radical left is very, very toxic in itself. Now, something else too, and I think this has got to be made, this point has got to be made. This is going to be one of the last points I make in the video. Here's the deal. These progressives are very, very much in favor of abortion. I'm just using this as an example. You do realize that a woman can get pregnant and then turn right back around and abort that child without you knowing, you the man. Even if it's like a one-night stand or hell, maybe you're dating her. I want you guys to picture something really quick. Let's say you've been involved with a girl for 5 or 6 months, and let's say that all of a sudden you get the vibe that something may be a little bit off. Maybe it's possible that you might have gotten this girl pregnant. She's not told you about it. Maybe she found out 3 or 4 weeks ago and she's not ready for a child. Yet she did not bother to ask you anything, so she goes inside of an abortion clinic and she gets the damn thing done. Meanwhile, you don't know what the hell's going on. I have dated women before who have, quite frankly, gotten away with things that I did not know were going on. Women are very, very good at hiding things. Men, on the other hand, we're not as strong at hiding crap. Eventually, stuff comes out. Eventually, even with women, things eventually come out. What I'm basically trying to say to you guys is this right here. Why do you want to be involved with somebody who's very, very much of the opinion to actually abort your own child or abort your own potential son or daughter without you actually knowing? The fact of the matter is that right now the two sides are a little bit too polarized, even though the political model shows those on the right coming more towards the center, where leftists have gone completely off the freaking rails. Do I need to bring up the chart? Also, something else too, and this right goes back to Jonathan Haidt, who, by the way, is not some pro-Trump guy. Of course, he's going to get labeled as that, even though he's got Trump derangement syndrome on the level of Sam Harris. He brought up the point that conservatives and moderates understand liberals, but liberals do not understand moderates nor conservatives. And this right here brings me to my last point. Going back to the whole abortion thing, this article basically states that Republicans and conservative-leaning people can't get liberal-leaning people, or conservative men can't get liberal-leaning women. I think that's a big-time fallacy, especially seeing how it's mostly the progressive leftist women who sleep around the most. All right, I think that right there. I mean, I think the conservatives, if they want to, they could play liberal for one night, or maybe contrast just a little. By the way, contrast is actually the real way you actually spark attraction. But I think it's very, very possible, and definitely a lot more likely for conservatives to sleep with liberal-leaning women who are a little bit more sexually promiscuous. Also, something else too, there's not as many actual, attractive liberal women, but the ones that typically tend to be attractive are the ones that are most known for throwing it out, if you don't mind me saying. I understand this right, I may piss some people off, but a lot of bull crap here, and these people right here are playing the victim, and they want to know why it is that conservatives, quite frankly, want nothing to do with them. Well, it's pretty freaking obvious. Take a look in the freaking mirror. Look at you. I mean, these progressives are very, very, let's just say they're not exactly what we call desirable. So, yes, conservatives eventually were going to walk the hell away from liberals. And when you've got people who like to whine and cry about anything and everything and are obviously of the activist nature, it makes them extremely toxic. So, yes, conservatives are eventually going to walk the hell away from the dating world. Now, a lot of moderate Democrat women or moderate Democrat men, they can date a conservative person, but radical lefty loons, like, say, the people at TYT and the person who wrote this article at Mary Sue, these right here are not the type of people that we deem desirable. Guys, John Claymore here. I know that this took a little while for me to get to the point, but I just figured I'd make this video because, quite frankly, it's been something that's been going on for a while, and I figured maybe it's something you might be able to extract some information from. Now, guys, if you like the content, make sure you guys hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. Also, sign up in the comment section, cut the notifications bell on, and I will see you guys later.
I'm not like everybody else.